Hi people, you're welcome back to another interesting tutorial today. So today we're going to be making this lovely dress, and for this design today I'm going to be using 3.5 yards of Ankara fabric. If you're a small size, 3 yards should be enough for you. Okay, so here are the measurements I'm going to be using for this tutorial today. The gown length I'm working with is 43, the bust circumference is 42, the waist circumference is 38, and the hip circumference is 48. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is to cut my lining. Then I'm going to fold the lining into four because we're going to be drafting days on the lining. You can see the fabric, the lining is folded into four. Then I roll my guideline and I also roll my zip allowance. The lining is folded into four, like I said, as you can see. Then the width of my zip allowance is 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Okay, so on my guideline, I'm going to put the shoulder measurements divided by 2. The shoulder I'm working with is 16.5 divided by 2. That will be 8.25. So I'll mark the 8.25 here, and I'm also going to measure it on my armhole length. The armhole length I'm using is 9 inches. 9 inches. Can you see? Then the next thing is just for me to roll this line. This is now my chest line. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to measure down the waist length. The waist length is 17.5, so I'll mark 17.5. And then the hip line I'm working with is 27, so I'll mark the 27. Ensure you measure your client so that you can determine the hip line. Then the length of the gown is 43 inches, which is exactly what I have there. Okay, so the next thing is to measure the shoulder again to be sure everything is in order. Then the next thing is just to roll this armhole line. All right, so I'll go ahead and put the body circumference measurement. So on the chest line, I put the bust circumference divided by 4. Then on the waistline, I put the waist circumference divided by 4. Then at the hip line, I also put the hip circumference divided by 4. Then I extend the hip line by 1.5 and also extend the hem line by 6 inches. Okay, so whatever you have on the hip line, put it at the hem line, also add extra 6 inches to it, just like this. Okay, so the next thing is just to connect this point together. All right, so first connect waist to the bust. Then from the bust, instead of you to connect to the exact hip circumference, you connect it to that 1.5 outside the hip circumference, and then from there you take it to the extension of 6 inches at the hem line. Okay, then next thing is to add our dart. There will be darts, so you put the width of your dart on the waist circumference. So I added extra 1 to the waist circumference. Then now I put my seam allowance of 2.5. I'm using 2.5 as the seam allowance. Then you connect them together like this. Okay, don't forget on the hip you have the hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 1.5. Then at the hemline you have the hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 6 inches. Okay, so the next thing is to go up at the side seam at the lower part by 2.5, and you get a curve like this towards the center of the fabric, just like this. Okay, so the next is to locate the nipple point. The nipple point is 12, you mark it. Then on your nipple point line, you input the nipple to nipple distance divided by 2 plus half. Then you're going to roll this line all the way down to the hemline. All the way down to the hemline. Okay, just like this. All right, so the next thing is just to quickly pull the neck width so that we can slope the shoulder. So I measured 3 inches inward here, and I came down by 1 inch at the tip of the arm of the shoulder like this, and I will connect it together. Then I'll add my ½ inch allowance to that line. Then the next thing is to locate the mid armhole. So place the tape like this and locate the middle of the armhole. Then at that point, you come in by ½ inch so that you can get the front armhole. Then from the mid armhole, you connect it back to the shoulder tape this way. Then from that point, you're going to connect it to the nipple point. Okay. We're trying to bring out the shape of the dart. So the next thing is to come down by 1 inch from the mid armhole and also connect it back to the nipple point this way. And you see, then you extend that line outside by 2 inches. Then you can go ahead and finish it up with the cuff like this. Then I highlight my waist length here. Then on both sides of this dart leg, I take ½ inch dart. I took ½ inch dart on both sides of the line this way. Then you connect it back to the nipple point. Can you see? So the next thing you're going to do, you go to the M line of the dart. Make sure you round this part. Okay. So you go to the M line, then you go outside where your dart line is by 1.5, exactly 1.5. Can you see from where the dart line is? Just go in like that by 1.5, and then you're going to connect it to this side of the dart leg. Just look at the way I'm doing it. It's pretty simple. So you connect it together like so. Make sure you get a nice angle. So when you're done with this side, you can see, so you cancel that other dart leg, the original dart leg, you don't need it again. So at the other side, you're going to also connect it to the lower part like this. Just look at the way I'm connecting it. From the waistline, you connect it to the hemline of that 1.5 extension that you have there. Can you see? Like this. So I've used blue chalk to highlight it for us so that it's clear. You can see the shape of the dart now. Can you see? All right, so the next thing is to put the neck circumference. So for the neck width, I'm using 3.5 inches. Then for the neck depth in front, I'm using 3.5 also. Then you're going to connect this point together. So the next thing is to put the neck depth for the back, which is going to be 1.5. Then you also connect it back to the neck width this way. Don't forget, we're cutting front and back together. That's why we are doing this choking like this. Okay. All right, so we're good to go. The next thing is to fold your main fabric into 4 also, and then you're going to place this lining on top of it so that you can use it to cut it out at once. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section, and also type in the comment section where you're watching me from so that I can give you a shout out in my next tutorial. All right, so I placed the lining on top of the fabric I already folded. So look at the way I'm going to do it. The lining is 2 inches shorter than the Ankara. Then I cut off the curve that we have at the M line of this lining, you can see. Then you drag the lining downward again to match up with the Ankara underneath. Can you see it like this? You can see that they match up there. All right, so you also cut the shape of that curve on the Ankara first. So when you are done doing that, you shift the lining upward to come back and match up the upper part like this. Okay, let's match up with the upper part like this. That way you can have your 2 inches extension on the fabric like this. You can see it. Okay, this is 2 inches, and you can see that the curve is already there. All right, so you can go ahead and cut off the side seam. Then the armhole side. All right, then now we are cutting the dart leg. So just look at the way I'm cutting the dart leg. So cut it straight like this before you follow the shape of the dart for the front panel side. You see the way I'm doing it. I'm not fast forwarding this because I want us to see it clearly. So you cut it all through to the armhole line, not to the front armhole, but rather the main armhole line like this. Then you cut it like this. Can you see? Reason because we are using this to cut both front and the back. So you have to cut on the back first. So you're cutting on the back neckline now. All right. So you can see the way it is. Hope it's clear. Don't forget to leave your question in the comment section. So I'm trying to also slit this center of the Ankara because we don't need it to be on foot, right? Okay. So the next thing now is to cut the side panel. Can you see the way it is? Don't forget to have not cut the dart leg for the other side, which we are going to be doing in a bit. So when you're cutting all this, ensure that the fabric is flat and is staying on top of each other nicely. All right, so the next thing is just to cut the second dart leg. You can see the way it is. So go ahead and cut the shape exactly the way it is. All the way to the nipple point. Then you stop. Can you see? You stop when you get to the nipple point like so. We have not cut the dart leg that is coming to the armhole side because that dart is for the front, okay? So you notch the zip allowance both at the upper part and at the lower part of the panel. So now we are done. The next thing you're going to do now is to lift the first two up this way from the lining. Then you take the next two lining, then the immediate first two of the Ankara. So that will be for the back, okay? Don't forget to put shock so that it's easy for you to identify later. Can you see? So you take them out. That will be for the back. So place back the first two lining with the remaining two of the fabric underneath. Match them properly. This will be for the front, okay? Make sure you align it properly back to the way it was. All right, so take the first two lining out of the way first, then this remaining two lining with the first two fabric, take them out. Meanwhile, before you take them out, you need to note the position of the waistline. So just chalk it on that lining like this, okay? So because we still need to do something to the back. So just take it out now that you have identified the waistline. All right, place the remaining two lining like this back to the remaining Ankara and align it properly. This would be the front. All right, so the next thing now is to cut off the front armhole. You cut the front armhole like this. Can you see? So you cut the neckline for the front, and also you cut the dart leg that is coming to the armhole. Make sure you align it very well before you do this step so that you don't mess up your fabric. You can also pin if you want. All right, so go ahead and cut off the dart leg that is going to the armhole. Hope is clear. So the front is ready. Don't forget to also notch and shock so that you'll be able to identify them later. So this is how you're going to join it. You take one side panel with one side panel, you join, repeat the same thing to the second side, do it on the fabric as well. All right, that's how to join it. But just stay tuned. I'm going to be showing this in this video. You can see I'm trying to write F so that I know that this part is for the front so that I don't miss it with the back. Make sure you shock and label accordingly. All right, so the front is ready. You take it out and keep it aside. Then you bring back the back. so that you can reshape the center back so that it's going to relax and stay flat on the zipper side. So this is the side panel. So for the side panel, you don't want it to have any shape of breasts like, so you are going to blend it the way I'm doing now. Can you see the way I've slightly blend it so that I can cut this part off so that it's going to be smooth instead of having like a bulge or like a breast like shape. So just do it this way and see it's just small thing that you cut off from there just to make it look uh flat. You get all right. So you keep the side panel aside and you bring the center back so that you can prevent zip bulge at the back. So you know we identified the waistline. So on that waistline you go in by 3/4 inch like this. Then you blend it back to the neck side this way. Can you see? Then you also blend it downward towards the hip line like this. Then you can go ahead and cut it off. This will help you to keep the back laying flat. Though there's no zipper at the back, but you don't want the back to be bulging. So you want it to follow the shape of the center back. That's why you're doing this step. And then you go ahead and cut it off. And that's it, the back is ready. So for the joining, you take the first two lining, you join at the center back with 1.2 inches. You also join the center back on the ankara with 1.2 inches. Then you take the corresponding side panel, you attach them to it. So stay tuned, I'm going to be showing you how to sew it on the machine. But before then, let's go ahead and cut the sleeve. As for the sleeve is just a short sleeve, okay? Like I said, I'm using 3.5 yard of Ankara fabric here. So if you want it to have pockets, you locate 1 inch below your waistline. Locate 1 inch below your waistline, and you're going to notch for the pocket position, just like this, and you just make a small tiny cut so that you'll be able to locate the 1 inch below the waistline, like so. Also do the same thing for the front, 1 inch below the waistline. You also notch, and that's it. We are done with the body. So now I'll go ahead and cut the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I'm using 8 inches for the length. Then I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it for the seam allowance. So you also locate your cap height, and on your cap height you input the armhole plus your seam allowance. Then you go back to the hem line of the sleeve. You put the round sleeve circumference divided by 2, then with your seam allowance. All right, then you go ahead and connect together, and yeah, you can cut it off. So this is the sleeve. So I folded my seam allowance upward so that I can cut the lining for it. So just do it this way, fold the seam allowance upward, and then you cut the lining for it. You can see what we have. The length of the sleeve is 8 inches. All right, so you notch, and then the next is just to cut pockets if you want it to have pockets, and that is it. We are done cutting. So let's move on to the sewing machine so that we can couple it. So this is the front. The first thing we do is to use my zipper to match it because it's having zipper. I should just use black. So use your zipper to match where the zipper will stop. The zipper did not run through to the end line. So from there, I'll close with one all the way down. So I'll fix the zipper, but before then, I'm going to attach the side panels to it. Place it right side facing right side, and you are going to start from the hemline all the way up. You're stitching it with 1/2 inch. So one side done, you do the second side. So this is it. So next thing is just to repeat this same step on your lining. Make sure you notch the dart lines. So I'm done with the lining. So what I'll do next is just to attach the zipper to the Ankara. So I'm going to attach the zipper with, before you start, make sure you leave 1/2 inch upward before the metal teeth of your zipper, because you are still going to be using lining to turn that part. But you cannot go live. Oh. Okay, so the next thing now is turn the neckline. So just turn the neckline, open up the zipper. Open up the zipper and use this to turn the neckline. So match them together at the hemline, and then you're going to stitch the hemline together. So as you're stitching, when you get to the position where you know for the pocket, don't forget to insert the pocket in between the lining and the ankara. Then when you're done like this, you push in all this other side in between the lining
So you push
of this
this
side that you're still
like
working
this
on. Look at the way I'm doing it. Just push it inside. Then you will be able
so
to
that
access
you
the zipper
can
side and also
sew
stitch
the
the zipper
zipper
side
side.
from the neckline all the way to where you sew earlier
So
for the
this is
zip
the
allowance.
zipper side.
Okay, just look at the way it is.
So one side is done. Don't forget to notch your neckline before you turn it to the good side.
All right, so as you can see, one side is done. So basically, you're going to repeat the
So
same step to the second side. So I'm starting with the zipper side this time around. The line is already on it, so just sew the zipper side just the way you see me doing now, all the way to where we already stitched for the zipper to stop, like so.
side
Then when you're
same.
done, you push
Push
all the
everything
second
inside.
side of
Start from the
the
underarm.
dress in, and then you're going to sew the side seam starting from the underarm all the way down to the hem line.
Don't forget to insert your
Don't forget
pockets
to
when you reach where the
insert
pocket
your
position is.
pockets when you get to the pocket when you get to the place that you notch for the pocket. Okay, just insert the pocket in between the lining and the ankara like you see me doing here. Then you stitch all the way down to the hem line. Don't forget you're using half inch to stitch this part. Okay, half inch. And when you're done, that's it. The front is ready. You turn it to the good side, give it a good press. Don't forget to notch the neckline and you turn it to the good side and you iron.
So I will still turn it back to the wrong side so that I can press open all my dark line. And from the good side, you have it like this. So I'll go and iron before I proceed. So for the back, I'm going to sew close the center back. Okay, so the center back is joined. So I'll attach the side panels. So you repeat the same thing on the lining. So this is the back. Place it on top of each other, right side facing right side.
Then you stitch the hem line together. Then when you're done with the hem line, you also stitch the neckline together. Then after that, you go back to the underarm. From the underarm, make sure you match both the lining and the fabric together nicely. Then you close the side. You're going to close the side seam with half inch. Don't forget to insert the pocket where you notch for the pocket position. And yeah. All right, so ensure you iron upon your dart line properly. Then when you're done, turn it to the good side, iron as well. Then the next is just to match front and back together at the shoulder. Make sure it's right side facing right side.
So mash them together at the shoulder, and then you're going to turn them like this. Just look at the way I'm doing it. Can you see? Then you pin and then take it to your machine and stitch exactly the way you have pinned it. All right. You repeat the same thing to the second side of the shoulder. And when you are done, you can just stitch the armhole side together like this. Then, if there's any irregularities around the armhole like this, you're going to trim and blend nicely. Can you see the way I've done it? Yeah. Can you see? Okay, so the last thing now is just to fix the sleeve. And as for the sleeve, you're going to be turning it with the lining first before you proceed to attaching it to the body. So when you're done with the hemline of the sleeve, match this lining together with the ankara nicely at the upper part like this. Then go back to the side seam of the sleeve, and then you stitch the side seam together with half inch. Can you see like this? You repeat the same thing to the second side, and then you turn your sleeve to the good side and iron. Then you proceed to attaching it to the body. So after turning it to the good side, I just mash the lining and the ankara together around this arm side. So the next thing now is just to fix the sleeve to the body of the dress. So you match the notion that you have the carpet of the sleeve together with the shoulder seam of the body, and then you stitch to the right and also to the left. So the last thing now is just to confirm your measurements, and then you're going to close the side. Can you see? Ensure you confirm your measurements and make sure everything is correct. Then you close the side seam. And that's it. Your dress is ready. Don't forget to click the like button and also click the subscribe button if you have not subscribed to this channel yet. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you next time. And here's the beautiful outcome of our dress. You can see how neatly the zipper side is finished. You know, everything is just looking so gorgeous and beautiful. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you next time. Bye. I love you. Mwah.